Listen, somebody sent this, and it looked fine, but guys, this might be kind of a...
But for this one,
I don't
we're
know
going to
yet.
be taking a look at a painting that was done in oil on a piece of paper that was then glued to a piece of wood. Now you can see that the painting is quite dirty, but more importantly, as the wood has expanded and contracted with humidity changes, it's caused waves, ripples, and tears and other damage in the paper. And we're going to alleviate those damages by removing this painting from the wood. It's not going to be easy.
He's gonna fuck it up.
But the end result should be worth it.
He's gonna fuck it up.
Now the first step, like many of the other conservations I've done, is to get the painting cleaned. And in this case, I'm going to be removing an old discolored brown varnish. I'm doing that using solvents. And because this painting is really small and because the paper is pretty fragile, I'm going to be using these swabs instead of hand rolling larger ones that I'll sometimes use for larger paintings. And when I start cleaning a painting, because different types of paint, different colors of paint can be fugitive, and that is they can be more vulnerable or less vulnerable to solvents, I try to focus on cleaning one area of a consistent color at a time. So here I'm working just on this sleeve area because it's predominantly white with a little bit of black and a little bit of brown in it. And if I focus on just that area, there's a higher degree of success and a lower degree that one of those colors is fugitive and that there's any damage done to the painting. So working in very small, very concentrated areas and trying to focus in on like colors, I have the highest chance of successful cleaning and the lowest chance of damaging the painting. And this painting was exceptionally dirty, and as you can see, just removing this varnish starts to reveal the really great colors that are under this painting. And with the face fully cleaned, we can start to see the sensitivity with which the artist painted.
This is crazy.
Thought.
It's like a brand new thing.
And as we zoom out and get a better look at the painting, with about half cleaned, we can really start to see the change that's going to take place once the painting is fully cleaned. So moving on to another part of the painting, again, I'm just working in small sections, trying to control the solvent and trying to give myself the highest degree of success and the lowest chance that any of the original paint is damaged or removed.
Dude, I wonder if they do that with like the big, huge, like billion-dollar paintings, like some Picasso or some shit.
Now, before anything else happens to the painting, I must protect the paint layer. And this is done using a reversible heat-activated adhesive and Japanese tissue paper. The adhesive is painted onto the surface of the painting, and once there's full coverage, the tissue paper can then be laid down atop the painting directly. And this is going to add a layer of protection so that the paint layer doesn't get scratched or scuffed or damaged during handling. On top of this layer of tissue paper, I'm going to add more of the same adhesive, and then I'm going to add a layer of Belgian linen canvas. And this is called facing. And not only does this protect the painting from handling, it's also going to stabilize it from any movement and any potential losses if any of the paint film becomes detached. And because I'm working on a very thin paper and removing this wood panel, I really want to make sure that this painting is stabilized and protected before I do anything.
Dude, let's say like you don't know what you're doing too much and you're like that far in, right? Where you cleaned it, put a layer of whatever, paper, another layer, linen, another layer, dude. Like if you feel like you're stressed out, like you can't do shit, you're stuck here, dude. Like you gotta do it.
Is the way to do that.
Don't you ever like sort of commit into something and you're like, dude, I should have done it. Fuck.
I can begin what's arguably the hardest and most delicate process of this conservation, and that's
fuck you guys,
the wood
dude.
from the paper.
Watch a fucking that video, dude.
The wood panel to a piece of MDF using screws and brackets. If you'll notice, this MDF has two pieces of wood on either side. Now, on top of those pieces of wood, I'm going to place an aluminum structure into which I can place a router with a clearing bit.
A router?
I can adjust this clearing bit down, and then I can begin removing material from the painting.
Oh no,
This
please.
used to be done with chisels and hand planes, but using the router is a little bit more effective and a little bit faster when it comes to removing the mass of the material. Now, I'm not going all the way down. I'm leaving about 1 millimeter, 2 millimeters worth of wood at the bottom, and that I will remove with hand planes, scalpels, and chisels. With the majority of the material now removed thanks to the router, I can switch to hand tools, specifically chisels and hand planes.
Just
to
don't
remove
spill your
the
wine on
remaining
it, five
wood.
head. Wine
Now this
glass.
is where having the facing comes in very, very handy and is absolutely necessary. Even though I'm trying to be very, very careful and delicate with how I remove this wood, I'm still subjecting the painting to quite some handling and a lot of friction and tension. And so making sure that that paint layer is stable and protected is absolutely essential. Working slowly and deliberately, I'll remove little bits of wood piece by piece until I have it down to about 1/64th or so, basically the thickness of a playing card. And then at that point, I'll switch from the chisels and hand planes to a scalpel for the last step.
Dude, what the fuck?
Oftentimes at this stage, solvents or water can be used to soften the adhesive bonding the wood to the paper.
You should
and the wood will
100%
peel
watch
right
it.
up.
You accidentally
Unfortunately,
closed the
nothing was
page.
successful in softening the adhesive this time, so I resort to using my scalpel to very carefully and slowly removing all of the wood from the paper. It's slow going, there are no tricks, and you have to be careful to not cut the paper because it's very delicate, and on the other side of it is the paint film. And with the wood all removed, I can scrape the back of the canvas, making sure that all of the adhesive residue is off. With the wood finally removed, we're left with a very delicate piece of paper and paint. So to provide some more support, I'm going to add
Yo, Lick, what the fuck, dude? Yo, they literally just host. Dude, then what? Dude, I'm just watching videos. I feel bad right now. Yo, everybody, can I get a huge shout out to Lyric? Mods, you guys spam his shit. Dude. Thank you so much, man. I didn't expect that. From Apex to... dude, thanks so much for the host, man. I hope you had a good stream, dude. You guys are crazy, dude. Thank you so much just for playing last few days. It was really sweet, man. Much love, boys. Hey, guys, can I get some hearts in chat for Lyric? Yeah. Yeah, I just sent him a DM the other day. Just like, you know, people were saying, "Oh, you did." Lyric wants to play. I thought it was a joke, and I just sent him a DM and we played. It was really sweet. Thanks so much for the host, dude. You're insane. I really don't know what to say. Thanks a billion times, dude. Which one is in pending video right now?
of kozo, that's Japanese tissue paper, the same that I use for the facing. And I know you're going to ask why I'm not wearing gloves, but I want to use the warmth of my hand to allow the paper to expand evenly on both sides.
We'll probably play Apex later.
If I'm wearing gloves, I can't do that. And it's important that the paper expands evenly because I don't want any wrinkles or ripples to be trapped.
Guys, is this an expensive watch right here?
On both sides. If I'm wearing gloves, I can't do that. And it's important that the paper expands evenly because I don't want any wrinkles.
This is expensive. It says Victorinox Swisky.
Or ripples to be trapped.
No, it's not. It's not expensive. It's bad.
With the painting now stabilized and secure
$100.
thanks to the added tissue paper, I can begin removing the facing. Here I'm using a solvent to soften the adhesive, and I'm going to use my scalpel and other tools to peel back the top layer of Belgian linen canvas.
Oh God.
Now remember, there's another layer of tissue paper directly on the painting, so removing the top layer of Belgian linen is relatively risk-free because it doesn't make contact with the paint film. Once that layer is fully removed, I will repeat this process and remove the tissue paper. Removing the tissue paper, however, is a delicate procedure because it rests directly atop the paint layer. So, going very slowly, piece by piece, I will peel back that top layer of tissue paper and reveal the painting underneath. This is always very rewarding to see that all of the paint is still in place and that there's no damage and that the facing was a success. Now, even though the painting has been stabilized with additional tissue paper, it's still way too fragile to do anything with. So, after consultation with my client, we decided that the best method of stabilizing this piece
to
mount it to 2 pieces of 8-ply acid-free museum board. Now, we could have mounted it to canvas and stretched it. We could have mounted it to a honeycomb panel, but we decided that this was going to provide the best solution for the client. So, using the hot table and an adhesive film, I'm going to mount the painting to those boards. I'll trim off much of the excess board, leaving about 3/8 of a border to facilitate easier framing. A putty will be used to fill in any areas of loss or damage on the paper or paint film. This is necessary to facilitate a smooth surface onto which to apply the retouching. Now, it's crucial to use a sense of feel and touch to make sure that all of those areas that are low or uneven are filled in and even.
Actually ruined.
The next step in the conservation is the retouching process. And while this painting did not have a lot of losses, there are still areas where the painting was damaged during its lifetime that need to be corrected to make sure that the viewer can enjoy the painting as a whole.
I don't understand it. If this is a painting made by like a famous painter and he's fixing it, that loses its value. Like the art is not the same art. He's painting it, yeah?
Not just see the damage. So using archival and reversible pigments, I will slowly go about finding all of the areas where the damage exists and touching them up, making sure to not be excessive.
So this guy's a
There are
woodworker
times when
and a
applying
painter.
the retouching goes very well,
And an engineer.
and times when you think it goes very well, but in reality, upon second glance, it's not so great. The benefit of using archival and reversible pigments is, as you can see, I can remove those pigments
Big
very
brain.
easily without running risk to the painting below and take a second shot at it. And hopefully the second time is better than the first.
I'm not a fan, but I'm not an artist. I can tell you.
With the retouching all complete, the varnishing can begin. Now, I'm using a natural bristle brush and a synthetic resin varnish with an ultraviolet inhibitor in it. And I'm going to simply brush this varnish on. I don't see the need to spray it because the painting is small enough and the surface is even enough and the varnish will provide a nice even finish. So working back and forth, making sure I have even distribution and good coverage. I'm just ensuring that there are no brush marks. Now, every once in a while, a hair will get stuck in the varnish and it needs to be removed. And the best way to do that is by using the edge of the brush to just pick it up quickly.
Damn.
And so here we have the finished, fully conserved piece.
Holy
It's
shit!
been cleaned, it's been removed from the wood panel that had caused damage, it's been filled in and retouched, and finally varnished. This painting is now stable. The boards that it's mounted to won't move, won't cause any further damage. The varnish has been removed, the true colors have been
You
revealed.
can remove the paint
by
from the
all accounts,
restoration
this
without removing the
conservation
original paint. It's for aesthetic reasons to view the painting in its original state. 5-head, wine glass.
was a huge success.
Is he gonna frame it now and put it on a frame for the client?
This video encompasses about 40 plus hours worth of work spread out over a couple of weeks. And while this conservation was interesting and rewarding for me, it's definitely not something I would have attempted early on in my career due to the high probability of failure or damage. It was interesting.
Dude, he popped off. Actually popped off hard. Look at the cracks on the hand. No crack. Same thing here.
And rewarding for me, it's definitely not something I would have attempted early on in my career due to the high probability of failure or damage. I hope you enjoyed the video as much as I did.